Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 47 of the Club Lorcana podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jeremy Bertrioni. With me, as always, Syed.
Hello.
And, of course, almost a friend, we got Ryan Walker.
Hello, everybody.
Ryan, of course, demoted to almost a friend after a hideous round 4 performance in the latest SSG. That was awful, buddy. I mean, what even happened? We all saw it online. I got a couple people messaging me about it. You can go back. You can watch this. They broke it down. You go to SSG's YouTube channel. They have it broken down by round. You can go to watch round 4. That is a match where Ryan beefs it. Ryan, you want to tell them what happened?
Punted. First of all, I skipped last week's podcast, so I wouldn't have to talk about this.
We got it.
And we're just going to jump right in it, right when everybody's in. Nobody's dropped off the podcast.
We'll talk about
because
it
we're rambling.
as soon as we're done with what happened. I mean, I feel like you dodged me. You dodged accountability, and that's not
question. Good question. What happened? I was 3-0 going into that match. I was feeling pretty good. I had just won a bounty mat the round before. Shout out to SSG and the bounty mats. Took it from their owner. That was fun. Got into the stream match. It was a matchup I felt pretty good about against Red Purple. I really think it was a situation of one mistake leading to the next, and to the next. So a lot of people that were there, we talked about it afterwards, hadn't actually seen game 1.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a blunder in game 1. I was ramming my Diablo into their Diablo. Every time I've ran a Diablo into something, I've put it in my discard and drew a card, right? You're like sacrificing it to draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
So muscle memory took over and I put it in my discard, drew a card when it wasn't dying, right? So that was mistake number 1, which led to mistake number 2 was actually just not taking out a Peter Pan. Long story short, lost a close game 1.
Yeah.
Game 2, rolled him, had a great JAFAR start and he couldn't catch up. Deck did what it was supposed to do. Game 3 was when really started going downhill. There was a mistake where his crab gave his Queen of Hearts challenger. I wasn't thinking straight. Thought took challenger as its strength. Killed my own Fox, I believe it was, who could have sang a friends the next turn. Had a judge call on that one. Got frustrated. You could see me shaking my head on the cast. So just got in my own head a little bit. That leads into error number 3 of playing a Pete and letting my opponent use an action the very next turn.
Yep.
Which I don't see until later, obviously, because I'm in some alternate universe where I'm just beating myself up for some reason. But interestingly, the judge call didn't happen for that.
It is interesting. I want to touch on a couple of different things. First thing I want to say is I didn't watch it, and I'm going to tell you why I didn't watch it. Because I have, a lot of types of friends, and I would say Ryan is probably the one that would be the hardest on himself for making these mistakes. So I didn't feel like I needed to go watch it to tell him, hey, you could have done this better. I do that all the time. But in this instance, when it's on camera and he can reflect on his own, then why does he need my reflection? So
True. Yeah. I mean, that's like an important part of our story and our development. There's countless times already in our short, year and a half friendship, I finish around and Zan goes, let's talk about it. Win, lose, draw, doesn't matter. Let's talk about it. Right. And we can go through what happened and we can talk about things that maybe I didn't see during that, whatever it was, game 3 or into that round.
Those invisible ones are the most important ones.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, people just don't see that. And, you win the match out of sight, out of mind. And that's what majority of players do. And you just can't do that. There was a better way you could have played. If you find those lines, it makes you level up 1,000%. So, try to reflect on even the wins.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I mean, looking back on it, I think that match was mine to win, and I punted it away at the end of the day. I would have been 4-0 after that match. I think if I just learn from it and grow from it, it's the best way to take it, right? It was my second stream match ever.
Yeah.
Right?
So I completely agree. So I do want to talk about, this is a black hole situation. So if you ever see me at a tournament, you'll see majority of the time when I'm done with my round, I actually don't go hang out with my friends. I just go watch other people play. And I feel like if I do go get food, I'll just go sit down right next to someone and just watch them play. And I like to watch up until the point at which they make like a irreversible mistake that can't like undo like
Yeah.
the mistake that they made. But I like to sometimes watch a little bit more after that because I think it talks a lot about a person when they're able to navigate themselves out of the black hole, right?
Sure.
So at what point do you feel like you went into that black hole? Was it like during game 1, game 2, game 3? When did it happen?
I think it was probably middle of game 3. I think it was the killing the fox situation.
Okay. All right. So then so you went into this dark hole situation, right? And oftentimes I think that a player has a way to double down. Basically, it's like so reflective of like you in that moment where it's like I can tell myself I didn't make this mistake and double down and double down and double down. And it's it gets dangerous, right? And when you have those moments on camera, which it's whenever you get on camera, it's bound to happen. The more you get on camera, the more you, you are putting yourself in that position, the more it's gonna happen. It's an inevitable. I can't think of a moment I had, but I'm sure I
Las Vegas finals.
yeah,
Right.
Vegas finals is probably the best moment. That one was yeah, like I need to recalibrate myself at the highest stage. It was like it was brutal because the thing that made it brutal was I'm on stage, everybody's watching us like in a movie theater type situation right next to the stage, and as soon as I made the mistake and the delay caught up to them, I could feel like all the air went out of the building. And so there was like 5 judges around me, and I had to like just grab the bottle of water, chug it, and be like, that mistake means nothing. I'm like
Yeah.
recalibrating, and I just told them that in that moment. And so oftentimes when I get into that, it's like it's as simple as like if you have like a heart rate monitor, if you could look at that heart rate monitor in that moment, well, what you would see is your heart rate's really freaking high.
Mhm.
And so when your heart rate's high, your decision making becomes poorer, especially when it comes to card games. So you just need to bring your heart rate back down.
Sure.
So one thing I'd like to do is say I need to go to the bathroom, throw some water on my face, or chug water to just bring my heart rate lower. So yeah, so whenever you get in that moment, you have to just like tell yourself like you have to do that. You have no choice. If you don't do that, then I've noticed the chances of you making more mistakes gets higher and higher. And so I feel like if I wasn't trained, if I was a less trained version of myself playing in that finals, I would have literally just conceded on the spot because it was such an embarrassing moment. Well, where it wasn't like in my mind I had played a Prince John before I had played the Strength.
Yeah.
Like I literally put the cards like this, and I thought the Prince John was in play. And so at that point, I really felt like it had more to do with, what do you call it?
People might say fatigue.
Yeah, fatigue. Yep, exactly. Endurance. My endurance was running low, and I was feeling fatigue. Jeremy, you're exactly right. So like working through that is just an experience thing. So the fact that you're getting into this position over and over again is a great thing, and I know that you'll come back stronger from it.
100%. I feel good about it. Looking back on it, I've watched it, processed through it. So
You should think through before the black hole what led you to make mistakes, because I totally understand when someone acknowledges a mistake and goes to the black hole.
Mhm.
But if you made mistakes before you went into the black hole, like what allowed that to happen?
I think it's time for Ryan to start walking my path. Don't ask him about his record. He doesn't talk about his record. He doesn't know what his record is. No,
That's the worst thing you can do. Don't
Every round is
ever,
round one. Because then there's no pressure. I never play win and ends. Why? Because my round 6, I'm 5-0. I'm same as round
knowing
1.
when you're playing a win in is really important, and acknowledging it is important because you want to feel that pressure. Because when it comes to the big stage, what do you mean? Like 50 people walk up to you while you're walking up to your match and being like, "Oh, so what round are you in? Oh, you're about to go play your winning in for top 8, or you're gonna play for the Golden Mickey." No one gives you a free pass. They are gonna come up to you and talk to you.
True.
Like it just happens at every tournament. So just like prepare your this is like acknowledging everything is going to prepare you for the bigger moment better than anything.
When I won my SSG, I was like, all right, we got to get ready for the next round. And you guys were like, it's over. You stop. I was like, I haven't beaten everybody in here yet. Can't be over. And you guys told me I won. And, you know, you never, why put that pressure on yourself? Every round is the exact same. You have to do the same thing, which is win the card game. So what does it matter if it's a win or not? Just play it.
Because sometimes other variables are going to make you acknowledge it, and it's not up to you. What do you mean? If you're on stage and people are gasping and like yelling and clapping, you get put into that moment whether you like it or not. And if you were ignoring it the whole time and you're forced to acknowledge it the first time on stage, it's gonna be scary.
Ryan, you should try it my way. Don't ask me about my record is what you tell everybody. And they're always like, God, okay. And then they walk around and you're like, well, I don't talk about my record. Phil Mickelson never checked his score when he played golf. He always just golfed. You know, he never knew what his score was because you're just trying to get into the lowest amount of holes anyway.
Okay, golf people are the weirdest athletes ever.
The comments are getting lit on fire right now.
Okay, I will say, you know, I know that you played football and I played basketball. So whenever you make a mistake in sports, like there isn't really like a question on your intellect. And with card games, the first thing that gets questioned is like, is this person even good at the game, or is this person even smart? And that is that hurts in like a different way than it did in sports. You know what I mean? Because like those quick judgment situations, you're like, anybody can make that mistake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally just the next play mentality, right? I got home and talked to my wife about it, and she said, hey, yeah, you got to be like, I hate Georgia football, by the way. I'm not even happy that I'm bringing it up on the podcast right now. She goes, you got to be like Carson Beck was last year. You remember when he threw those 3 interceptions and he just came out and threw like a touchdown pass?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like, that's a terrible analogy, but yes, I get what you're trying to say.
Fun fact about Ryan, he actually has experienced both types of pain, intellectual and physical, because in high school he got a concussion playing football.
Oh, nice.
That's why I lost round 4.
Yeah. It came back like half a second wave. He's the first Lorcana player that's going to get the CTE. Anyway, I wanted to bring it up because I recently had the opportunity to talk to a lot of new players, because the space that I host every Monday, we let new players come on and they sort of wanted to talk about their experiences. And a lot of them in their set championships were like discouraged by mistakes they made or judge calls that went the wrong way against a more competitive player. They felt a little, I guess, like tricked or whatever. And I just thought that you could provide some, you know, there's probably a lot of people who we just had a round of set championships. And so there's a lot of people who experience that type of loss, and they might want to hear from you, a newer player than me or Zan. You know, I'd lose a match like that and I'm like, well, you know, I've been doing this for a couple of years, so I'll try again next year. You know, it's not a big deal, but for new players, it just is so much. It's the first time experiencing those things. Speaking of set championships, congrats both of you, by the way. Ryan winning one, and then Zan getting the top 4 of your set championships, which brings us to the metagame. We talked a lot about it last week. My opinion is that not much has changed, but I'm not out on the ground like you two. What do you guys want to say about the metagame? We like to start with the metagame.
We should start off with the winner. Ryan, start us off.
All right, yeah, let's just transition from my punt to my win. Yeah, that's good.
You won a set championship.
For sure.
Congratulations.
It was awesome. I wasn't going to get to play in a set championship this weekend, but the rain in Georgia helped me out. I actually just left work a little bit early, and there was one set champ that started at 1 p.m. that I could exactly make it to.
Perfect.
So I grabbed my deck and submitted it on the way. And got into one. It was up in Buford, Georgia. Very cool store. We've been there before. I think you guys split a final there one time, actually.
And the time before that, I won that one. Yeah.
Nice.
I love that place.
We love that place.
This is Atomic?
No,
Video Game Trader. Yeah.
Birthday weekend.
Yeah.
It was interesting, and I actually watched the spaces back, and I was listening to some of those callers talking about their set champ. This one was interesting. I consider myself a newer player, especially in this room. I'm the new player sitting on the couch, right? In this room, I was not the new player. It was a pretty, I would call it, softer room that I walked into. And it was a room that I would say that I should have won. And thankfully, I performed that way. So it was nice to walk into a room where I wasn't necessarily the new guy, right? Or in most rooms, I'm the less experienced player. This was a room where I was definitely the more experienced player. So, the last year and a half has been paying off, obviously. I've accelerated my growth curve, I would say. And that was a room I should have won, and I did win. As far as metagame goes, I was playing Jafar Wheel with a couple of small tweaks from my SSG list. And I walked into a room that was basically all steel. There was a lot of blue steel, amber steel, a red steel. I want to say, and there were a couple more purple steels, non Jafar. So having a lot of reps into steel decks really helped there. Pete becomes really, really important really fast into steel matchups. So, yeah, I lost one game on the day. So I dropped one game against aggro, and I 2-0'd the rest of my opponents.
Sweet.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
I played blue red items, and my room was a hard room.
Georgia has some hard. Atlanta, Georgia has hard rooms.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a really good thing. Like, it's like when we go to DLCs, we're so over prepared because we're like just so used to facing ringer after ringer, and the first couple rounds of DLCs and end up being easier just because our rounds and our locals are so difficult. I played against a Sheik, um, who is a really good Yu-Gi-Oh player and now a really good Lorcana player. In round one, he was playing green steel discard. He used to be an amber steel guy, but I literally the day before I went to Vegas, I went and played against him in a locals, and he beat me 2-0. And I remember when I was no, he beat me 2-1, but before we started playing, I told him and his brother, "Hey, I think I broke the format." And then I lost to him in the finals. And and then I went on the weekend. I didn't have like the proper build just yet. It was close. It was like 56 or 54 out of the 60 cards that I played in Vegas. And I ended up winning the tournament. And I remember both of them came up to me and they were like, "Why didn't you tell us?" I was like, "I tried to tell you, but since he beat me, that he just looked at the result of beating me and not like this deck is seeing zero play. Why is this guy playing it?"
I've made that mistake before, and I punted a SCG Open in Atlanta. Do you remember that? Where I was playing green black infect. You were
Yeah.
like, blue green is the way. We tested all night. I'll beat your butt all night. And then I was playing an unplayable deck for the tournament. It was so
I
bad.
tried so hard. I tried so hard to convince
I was
you.
like, Zan, I mean, if you had won once against me in 7 games, maybe I'd believe you. But
I won the tournament.
And yeah, Zan wins the tournament with his deck. Obviously, I'm like 0-3 dropped that tournament.
That was such a sweet tournament.
Completely unplayable pile. So yeah, sometimes that happens.
Yeah. So I played against Ashik in round one, and then I played him in. It was a smaller. It was like 17 people, but they ended up doing 4 rounds, best of 2, cut to top 4.
Ugh.
So obviously, I played the last round to try to secure number 1 seed, and I secured number 1 seed, and I got paired against Ashik, which I played against him in round 1, and we went 1-1 split. He was my only split, and then I 2-0'd my next 3 opponents, and I was feeling really good. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be on the play, and I just had some of the worst hands I've ever I've ever seen. And I would say like green steel isn't like what my deck is tuned to beat. Basically, it's like very, very favored against everything else. And I would say green steel is a 50-50 without Hiram. Play matters, but if your draws are bad, I mean, what are you gonna do? And it was like really interesting. There was a Diablo that always hit play, and I always dealt with the Diablo, but the rest was just like discard, discard, discard. And I was like, yeah, this is what I get for discarding other people so much. So yeah, I mean, you can't win them all. I think I took the highest path. Basically, it came down to me playing against a Sheik or another Green Steel player who was playing a Robin Hood version, which would have been better than the Beast version. So there was like a possibility if the coin flip landed in my direction that I would have been in a better position to make it into the finals. And maybe it could have changed the result. But yeah, I mean, I felt like I played my best, and there is nothing I could do with the cards I was dealt.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
Yep.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Lastly, I just wanted to give a shout out to my finals opponent, Amy. I think one of you played against her the last time we were there. She had a
Oh.
really cool Steel Song build where she was playing Bolt and Sven, where she would ready her Bolt, and she took me to the absolute brink on one game. It was
Yeah.
like if she had another 1-drop character in her hand, she would have won the game.
Mm-hmm.
But really cool build. Shout out to her. She's playing
Is
really well.
Amy the person I played in the top 8 of Level Up Duluth? Remember, I think she was playing Blue Steel aggro.
I only remember her at Video Game Trader, but could have been.
Okay, never mind. Does she have glasses? Then I don't know who this is. Never mind.
In that case of her not having glasses, never mind. All right, you guys ready to talk about spoilers?
Let's do it.
Spoiler season.
So we have recently gotten the full set 8, Reign of Jafar.
Mhm.
A little bit of a contrast to this set. With the last set, it felt a little low on power level, with the exception of the big blue cards, I would say.
Mhm.
But the rest of the set didn't really make that much of an impact on standard or on core constructed. This one, it feels like a lot higher power level across the board. Let's get some like groundwork out of the way. Multicolored cards are back. There are no locations. The multicolored cards seem to be sort of split between sort of 2 lanes. So for every color combination, let's say for example, yellow, blue, they have a prescriptive lane and a non-prescriptive lane. Let me explain what I mean. A lot of the yellow, blue multicolored cards are about this puppies deck. You have the new Perdita that says when it enters the battlefield, all your puppies go from your discard pile in your inkwell. And that's like really telling you to go a certain direction. But most of the multicolor combinations have a non-prescriptive card. So for blue, yellow, it's this new Ludwig von Drake. And this card kind of works in a more generic version of the deck. You don't have to play puppies to play this card. And it just says, it's 2 ink, uninkable. When you play it, you get to look at their hand, get rid of a non-character card, and then I think it dies into the inkwell, and it costs 2. So a lot of the color combinations have that split. You have blue steel cards that really care about having allies, but then on the other end you have Arthur, this new really powerful blue steel card that doesn't let you draw a card during your turn, but it's a huge character. And so we kind of have that as like a way that they've structured these multicolored cards. My preference almost always is going to be the non-prescriptive version. I just think that give players tools and they'll build the house as opposed to building the house for the players. But what do you guys think of that sort of dynamic and that dichotomy that they're doing multicolored cards? Do we like it? Do you prefer prescriptive, non-prescriptive? Let's go with Zam first.
Yeah, multicolored cards. I felt like were the solution to catch other colors, color combinations that haven't been tier 1 to make them tier 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. That's the way to push a color combination. It's interesting that the theme seems to be to make one prescriptive and one not. My first thought would be, is it appealing to 2 different kinds of Lorcana players? Your prescriptive being your more casual player that wants to build a puppy deck or wants to build a pirate deck. And then your more competitive player that wants to just take broken card and figure out the deck.
Right. So you have like, I mean, they almost all have an example of this, but I mean, what's the best way to start? We can talk about some of our favorite cards from the set. We can talk about, I mean, they're really putting a lot of power into green,
Well,
which it's going to need post-rotation. What do you think?
I think that the first thing we should talk about is the power level of this set. I think that this is definitely the most powerful multicolored set. It is potentially top 3 most powerful sets. And I think it changes the game quite a bit.
Yes, I agree 100%. This is a big change to the game. There's going to be new strategies coming to the forefront. I think some of these green Floodborn cards and the green-blue Floodborn deck even is like a thing now.
Yeah, and I think the secret sauce is in exploring these different color combinations. Like it's just so deep, and you just got to take the time to figure out a lot of these cards, and you can't figure them out just by reading them because they are like environmentally challenged in the sense that like if the environment is right for them, then they could be the most cracked card period. Like a great example is the 6/6 for 4 that's blue steel.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Prince
It's King Arthur,
King Arthur? Yeah.
but at the time it's just Arthur.
Yeah, King Arthur 6/6 lures for 3 and can't draw cards on your draw step.
Right.
I mean, that's like a pretty insane card, right? Like we know that blue steel aggro has been a thing. And it could give it the tool that it needs to finish more games, you know?
I can't find that card for some reason. Oh, but this is only 193. It doesn't have all 2A. So this
So
one
it's
I'm
a
looking
4
at.
cost inkable.
Yeah.
6/6. That quest for 3, and it says skip your turn's draw step.
Yeah, less prescriptive. You know, you're not doing the allies thing that a lot of the blue steel cards want you to do. But powerful, and it's going to take a while to figure out, I guess.
I also think that the themes could be more powerful. And I think that they could be in the realm of both players. Like that's what the casual players want, and that's also what the pro players want. I think it could have worked. I just think that the puppy theme is just too weak.
Puppy theme is very weak, but blue yellow definitely has a lot of interest because Ludwig von Drake could maybe carry that color combination.
I mean, it's true that it can help your development and deal with a potential threat, but does it finish the game? It doesn't, right? So we're like, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered from these color combinations that have historically not been playable. But if you figure it out, I mean, you could just break the format and you could win whatever tournament that you're looking to play.
Yeah, I think that is kind of where the rubber meets the road with this set. And honestly, what I hear in conversation when these cards come out, it's a lot of talk about, well, that gets rotated or the removal gets rotated. So it makes this card viable, right? So many people are already looking forward to set 9, Fabled, and talking about what these cards and their impact will be post rotation, right? Most people aren't playing in Worlds, right? Most people in this room aren't playing in Worlds, so their mindsets already go to set 9 in rotation. They're almost skipping over this set. You talk about it a lot, right? How do the best decks get created? Well, the most people are working on the deck, and it gets closer and closer and closer to an optimized list. Well, if most people aren't playing this format because they have nothing to go play for, are we going to get to the most optimized list of these color combinations?
Well, we'll have some of, if not the best players in the world being motivated to figure it out. So I mean, that is like, I mean, Worlds is like a crazy amount of motivation. So I think that players will figure stuff out, but you can't put in the hours that 1,000 people could. So do I think that we figure out the most optimized list? Everything is so reactive that optimized for a highly played format is different. But I think that this will be optimized for whatever tournament that it wants to be. And I also think that if you mentally check out, you're going to be losing so many lessons because like you want to be thinking about the format as it is the most wide it could possibly be, right? And the most wide it could be means that the answers are going to be more hidden in a haystack, right? And so you should take the time to explore it while it's as big as it is, because the answers will be so much more, I mean, honestly, easier once rotation happens, right? Like you'll have less choices and there'll be less discoverability. So the most fun you can have deck building is now. And then later on, people some like the people, when all of them are playing, are just going to provide you all the answers. So I think take the time to sandbox the situation, because maybe this time next year, when this type of the format's this wide again, there'll be tournaments that you missed the lessons for this year.
I also think set 7 was a little bit of a whole format, nothing much to play for outside of set championship. Set 8 is not going to be that way. We have those big PPG events. We have the SSG Invitational that we have to get ready for. Lots of other SSG event, like I don't think set 8's as much of a whole format as set 7. So this is definitely one of the ones that you're going to want to play.
CCS.
That being said, how do we want to do spoiler season? I think we each just do a top 5, no repeats, going in order.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's just popcorn them, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then you guys can start because I have a bunch. So
you can start because I just learned about this.
Number 1 card of the set for me, Big Mickey. 10 ink, uninkable, 10/10. Quest for 5, okay? Bodyguard. And if it dies, all their guys die. This card works great in a deck that can cheat it out. So you think green, steel, Mickey. How do you play it? Well, you can play all the other Mickeys and the new Hades that says you can banish something to play something with the same name. You can play Hercules, Return of Hercules, which will put the Mickey into play.
Mm-hmm.
You can hit somebody with the 2 ink Mickey, kill it, boom, here's Big Mickey. You could use Mickey Trumpeter to get this in play. I'm playing green, steel Mickeys, deck 1, post-rotation.
Did you say the 10 drop Mickey?
Yes.
10 costs unequal. Yeah.
Zan's caught up. I'm talking about the 10 cost Mickey. That's what I've been talking about actually for the past couple of seconds.
All right, I'm going to go with Undermine.
We were going to talk about my idea if it was good or not.
Oh, my bad. It's terrible.
Okay, great. Now let's do Undermine. What's Undermine do?
Undermine, a chosen opponent chooses and discards a card. Chosen character gets +2 this turn. It costs 2. It's red, green, and it's an action. Not
So this provides a lot of. This is the one of the cards we're talking about where in Infinity format it's really exciting, and then in core format it's not going to be as exciting. But in set 8, the whole thing's obviously Infinity format.
Mm-hmm.
This card goes great with Hypnotize. Sudden Chill. This gives you a critical mass of discard effects to never miss on that effect. I assume that's why you're excited about it.
Yeah, and plus one of the problems with this strategy has been a bunch of derpy characters.
Little weak things.
They don't do very much, and you're always going to play Ursula in a discard strategy. The 1/3, which is the Deceiver,
Yes.
becomes a 3/3, which trades with a lot of important things. So I just think that red green is a deck that I built like so many times, feeling like, oh, this could be the next discard deck, but it just never quite got there because red is such a lame color to pair with.
Red green is a little bit of a lame pairing, but you have interesting things. There was a red green Robin Hood deck for a little while that used the brainstorm to put a Dragonfire on top. Then you quest with the Robin Hood, and then you get to Dragonfire at the top. Something like that in the works might be cool. How's that sound? What I just said, pretty good, I think.
Sounds fun.
Okay, great. Let's do Ryan. What's your favorite card of this set?
I want to talk about the 5-drop uninkable 4/4 JAFAR. That says whenever this character quests, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. If an illusion character card is discarded this way, you play that character card for free.
Yeah.
Also a quest for 3. Illusions matter. Yes or no?
The big question is, what are the illusions you're looking to put into play, right? We have the Abu, the one that cares about exerting, or the one that can exert their characters. That's a new card that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
This is sort of Purple Steel's kind of more prescriptive, illusion cards that'll be good. I found the Abu. Whenever this character quests, gain lore equal to the quest ability of an opposing character. There was another illusion. What's the one I'm thinking about where it exerts their thing on entry? It's big. It's not on this list. It's on the newer list.
That one's not coming to mind.
That's okay. I'll find it in a second and we'll talk about it. But yeah, so I think it's going to have to do a lot with the quality of your illusions. Zan, any thoughts on Purple Steel illusions? Do you think that could maybe be the deck, one deck?
Yeah, I mean, certainly. I think that illusions are very cool, very interesting to interact with. I would love to, make you discard a card and take out your illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Sounds great. Back to you, Jeremy. Card number 2.
The one that I'm really excited about, it is the new Go-Go Tamago. This is a green-blue card. It costs 4. It also has shift 4. Uninkable 3/3 evasive. When you played it, if you used shift to play it, then you get to let it go. So you get to take one of their characters, put it in the inkwell. The reason I'm excited about this is because it synergizes really well with the sort of Hiro Hamada kind of Floodborn mid-range deck, and that deck got a lot of new toys. So I'm also going to pair in the new Fred This is a Fred that whenever it quests, you get to like get an Inkwell, get a Floodborne character from your deck into your hand.
He's doing a bonus card. You see what's happening here? He's sneaking in a third card to his second card.
Oh, so you're done with your cards?
No, I'm not.
He's cheating in a card. He's
I'm not
ramping
cheating.
into his third card.
This is me helping you because I'm talking about more cards. And I'm not even claiming that Fred, so he could literally say Fred on his next one and I wouldn't even be mad. I'm saying that this Go-Go Tamago points to the Floodborne deck that they've prescribed with the Hero Hamada from the last set, the Baymax from the last set. You're definitely playing Morph in your Floodborne deck because anything can go on top of it. I think that this is a removal spell in a game where removal is very premium. This could potentially give this deck a lot more legs. So I'm excited to test blue-green Floodborns because it's Go-Go Tamago.
Go get your Hero Hamada set champs promos now.
Yeah. Could be. Might could be. That card's probably in the deck in some capacity.
I love that card. I think it's a great effect. I think that shift only effects are great.
I
And
agree.
it's very powerful. Incentivizes you to do the thing. Right? Because oftentimes we were getting into the spot where we're like, shift, get blown out. And you're like, oh, this felt so bad. And now it's like, shift, get the value, get out of there.
Right. You got their guy. Now you have an evasive 3/3. This can go on the Go-Go Tamago that was in green previous, the 2-drop Go-Go Tamago. They also
Or more.
or Morph, or they also printed another 2-drop Go-Go Tamago. So, you know, play a bunch of Go-Go Tamagos. Tamago
more.
is egg sushi. I love it. I eat it
Alright.
all the time. Get me, catch me outside on a revolving sushi station eating Tamago. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, that was too much. You
No
totally-
way you scoop the Tamago.
My turn.
Sushi.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Stitch. Experiment 626.
Nice.
All right, I like this card a lot. Okay, it's a 3 cost uninkable. When you play this character, each opponent puts the top card of their deck into their inkwell face down and exerted. At the start of your turn, if this card is in your discard, you may choose and discard a card with ink to play this card for free, and he enters play exerted. It's a blue card.
So I tweeted about this card.
And what you say?
Mhm.
I said, looks like Dredge got a new toy.
Oh.
Because imagine the card that you discard to bring it back lets you bring a bunch of other cards out from the graveyard.
Mm,
That would be good. But we don't have that card yet.
I'm
But
glad
if
we don't.
if we ever had a card, so this is actually what I'll say about this card. If they ever print a card that I really want to discard to bring this back, maybe because it does something in the discard pile, I think I'm in. Right now, I'm super out because when you play it the first time, it ramps them even though you didn't get out of the graveyard.
Yep.
If it only ramped them after you got out of the graveyard, I would be in on it, but it doesn't. So this is a 3-ink 4/4 that has now set them ahead a turn, and I basically think you cannot afford to do that.
I think that we're testing the boundaries, and I'm happy that we're testing the boundaries, right? And I think that it screams blue steel, right? So if I had to discard it with a dock or whatever, and I need to flood the board faster, I just think it, like, let's say you put like a bell and this and 2 stitches in play and play a dock, you know what I mean? Like, you're feeling really good. Like, what are they gonna do with that extra ink at that point in the game? And so I think that I don't necessarily know that it's like cracked right out the back, but I'm gonna put it in my like bag of secrets and like pull it out whenever I feel like I have a shell that it works in.
This card is waiting for its friends. Ryan, imagine if there was a card that was inkable that said, whenever you draw a card for turn, instead of doing that, you can put this from your discard pile into your hand.
Demonic Tutor.
And then that's not what Demonic Tutor is. You
I
put it
just
from your
wanted to
discard
say
pile into your
Demonic Tutor.
hand, and then you put the top like 5 cards or 6 cards of your deck into your discard pile. Now suddenly, at the beginning of my turn, I discard that, get the Stitch in play. They ramp, whatever, doesn't matter. Then instead of drawing, I put it into my hand, put 6 cards from my deck into my discard pile. Now my discard pile is getting out of hand. It's getting huge.
Mhm.
We don't have that piece right now, but this is the beginning of something really great. this Stitch
I don't
is.
think we need to end up going in that direction.
I want to. I'm ready.
It's not good for the game.
It's really good for the
because
game.
because people are like, okay, now we have to care about like cards that deal with cards in people's discard.
No,
That gets so messy.
don't worry about it. Let me just put my whole deck in my discard pile on turn 3 and bring them all out onto the battlefield and
You,
be
I mean,
like,
you can see them starting to sprinkle that stuff in, right? You have the queen that cares if there's a princess in there, right? So they're starting to dip their toe into that water.
Yeah, I don't mind it to a certain degree. I like when I'm deck building, one thing I like to do is like when I know I have like a good deck, then I start thinking, oh, how do I like take advantage of every zone?
Mm-hmm. You
How
like
do I
the
take
zones,
care
for
of
sure.
ink? Well, take advantage of the discard. Take like that's when I'm like, oh yeah, I'm building a masterpiece. I'm taking advantage of every zone this game has to offer. So I do like that.
they should print a 5-ink uninkable card that does nothing if you play it. But if it goes directly from your deck into your discard pile, they lose 2 lore and you gain 2 lore. Suddenly,
you know what would be a cool card if there was a card that was like whenever your opponent puts a card in their inkwell, you gain some sort of benefit.
yeah.
So then you can just bring back 4 stitches, gain 4 lore.
Oh man, well, looks like you just put 4 cards in your inkwell, buddy. It's pretty bad for you because now you have 8. And once you have 8, all my guys activate and turn huge or whatever.
Yeah, 10
So
lore each.
So what I love about this Stitch is it gets Jeremy, the like card player, really excited, but it's missing the other piece. And that other piece could be a lot of things. It could be something that triggers if they have a certain amount of ink because it forces your opponent to ramp. It can be something that, you know, really goes crazy with the graveyard because it interact or the discard pile because it interact, you know, it's the discard pile. But right now, as it stands, I think it's missing its other parts. That's how I feel about the card. Sorry.
That's how he feels.
That's just how I feel.
That's fair. I'm going to talk about everybody's favorite dragon.
No.
He's a 6-cost inkable.
What about the
4/6.
Yeah.
He also has shift 4. His name is Mushu. And if he doesn't get an enchanted, we riot. The text says, whenever you play another character, they gain rush, reckless, and evasive this turn. So you shift him in on 4. The next time you play a character, they have rush, reckless, and evasive.
Okay.
This card's bad. It says another.
Whenever you play another character, they gain
So the word
rush,
another is
reckless,
killing
and
this card.
evasive this turn.
It should just say whenever you play a character, it should trigger on itself. How big is it? 3/6?
4/6. Shift 4.
It costs.
It's only going in the red steel challenge deck, right? Challenge matters deck.
But is there a little Mushu that's really good on?
There is a new little Mushu or two. I don't know that they're broken by any means, but they do exist.
Sure, but you put them in play, and now you threaten to... The thing is, you don't even threaten to play the Mushu and snipe. You threaten to play the Mushu and then play a guy and then snipe, and that's just not right.
Too slow.
It's too slow by a mile. And this is in a color combination that needs help, right? Like, this is a red steel card.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at a red steel card, it has to be not only good, it has to be good enough to elevate. And that's the issue with this Mushu, is that this Mushu is like fine, but it's not really fine enough to elevate, which is what you really need from a red steel card.
Does it draw you 7 cards?
Zan is extremely harsh with the color combination.
It can sing a whole new world, yes.
You can think of all-
On turn
Does,
4.
does it when you play it? Does it give you cards?
When you shift it in and sing a whole new world, you get 7 cards.
No, no. So do I.
The bottom line here is if we don't get a really dark enchanted that says your worst nightmare and has Mushu on it, just like this, Jeremy.
Why do you like Mushu so much? What is this? You don't care about any of the
Mushu,
other Disney
lizard, not
characters?
dragon. Wait, dragon, not lizard.
Right. You messed that up even. Okay, since you didn't say it, I'm going to say it. My next new favorite card. This is the piece de resistance to the illusion deck. This is the illusion you want to put in. This is the Sultan Royal Apparition. This is a 5-ink uninkable 5/5 with Vanish. Whenever one of your illusion characters quests, exert chosen opposing character. This kind of brings the whole thing together, right? We have JAFAR, we've got a ton of illusions, and our illusions are big. We have Iago, Raja. Now suddenly, whenever one of them quests, exert, and we like have the muscle with this 5/5 and some other guys to like punish them for exerting. I think that this card is what makes me excited about the new JAFAR.
Yeah, I mean, off the jump, I like it, obviously. And Purple Steel, it's kind of what you've been missing. I can never fit Elsa in my deck. She's a 5-drop and she's so expensive. But you get the Elsa effect on this guy, right?
Well, yeah, whenever one of your illusion characters quests. So could be as soon as you play it, you quest one illusion, hit with
Another
the other
guy.
one.
Yeah.
If you've been playing illusions. If you put it into play for free with a Jafar, I mean, that's crazy because you're getting a really good card worth of value. Zan, thoughts on illusions decks? He loves it.
I mean, I think that deck builders are already starting to put in cards that punish you for playing illusions. Right, a great card is Improvise, which is +1 power, draw a card, and that can just take care of an illusion and draw you a card. And I just think that after an illusion set comes out, more people will just slot those type of cards in.
Sure. How many of those cards can you afford to play in a deck without your deck becoming horrible?
I mean, for Improvise, you can play 4.
Yeah.
For a card like the red-green card, one that makes you discard and gives you +2, you definitely play 4. And then, there are other cards that are coming out. Like, for example, like, if there's Cusco coming out, more people are going to be willing to play 2-drop Cusco, which means that you're more incentivized to play a card like Hypnotic Strength. Right? And I love Hypnotic Strength. It's a great card. Plus,
I played it at the Zed Jam. It was good.
It was good, right? Yeah. If someone is playing illusions, which the percentage goes up, and you even have only 1 or 2 copies, and you find it and you connect, it's like so backbreaking. It's ridiculous. You took care of a 5-drop for a 2 cost draw card. What just happened? My life is over.
That would be the end of my life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we think about these big illusions that we have right now, right? Like Giant Cobra is a 4-drop, right? I mean, there's a 3-drop. Yeah, there's a new Palace Guard. He's a 1/4 illusion that costs 1, right? So if we start playing illusions at a lower curve, there's only so many answers you have, right? How many of the illusions can you answer in this way?
You could also play the old Jafar that says whenever one of your illusions dies, then it goes back to your hand.
Yeah, but that's a 2/4.
It's true that you're playing and maybe not the best card, but it's gotten rid of your problem that you had, and you still have the other Jafar that now quests to put the illusion back in your hand. You're drawing a million cards.
It's a complicated mess, and I couldn't explain. I couldn't be right about the entire deck in this instant.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? It's just I'm like mentally doing gymnastics to like wanting the deck to be good, and I'm having trouble.
Purple Steel Illusions is broken. That was easy. Okay, Zan, what else you got for us? What's good in this set?
We'll go with the obvious one. We'll go with the blue-red Lumiere.
Lumiere. Now this is a candle monster. So what does he do?
Also, I just want to. We had a big conversation about how to pronounce Lumiere a couple weeks ago in Margate. Yeah, I think you were probably playing. People struggle to pronounce Lumiere. He's French, right? Yeah. So it's not. You can't say.
I tried my hardest.
I thought he's a candelabra.
I thought you got it the first time you said it, so that was just pretty impressive to me.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. I was not part of that.
You've been practicing your.
I've not practiced it once. Okay, so yeah, I mean this card is straightforward. 4/3. The not straightforward part is why does it have evasive and ward?
4/3 evasive ward. Okay, great. I'm ready to play it. That sounds awesome.
Evasive ward, and yeah, it's just really powerful. I mean, it's like impossible to get off the board, right? Like you have to challenge it or you have to be prepared. The board, that's like ridiculous standards. Number 2 is what am I trying to say? Number 2 is it can gain you a bunch of lore, right? Whenever you banish one of your items, it gains +1 lore, and you can just banish a bunch of popsicles and just gain like 5 lore all at once. So I just think that it's easy to activate. It's a body that can sing, and then even if it sings, it's still hard to get off the field. Like we know that a 4/3 doesn't die to Elsa, doesn't die to Diablo, doesn't die to like let the Storm Rage on it. You can't even let the Storm Rage on it. It's like It's just a ridiculously powerful card. You can Maui Shark connect with it, but it can sing Let It Go to get rid of your Maui Shark, so it needed to be a rushed Maui Shark. That's crazy expectations.
The answers seem pretty limited. Yeah.
So I think that this is just a problematic card. I mean, maybe in the category of Bucky, but it does cost 5.
Works well with the new Geppetto. Is a 4-cost 3/3 that has quest for 1, but whenever it quests, you can banish any number of items to gain a lore for each item. So you could maybe play a more item-centric build where you're playing a bunch of off items. You have Geppetto, you quest, get them all, then Lumiere quest for 4 or whatever, and that could be like a 1 OTK situation in red-blue. That'd be pretty interesting to try out and see. We saw a cheap item deck take over for the last one. Anyway, go Ryan on your next card.
All right, I'm moving on to a Ruby Legendary. It's a 5-drop inkable 4/4 named Lilo. So during your turn, if you played 3 or more actions this turn, you may play this character for free. I know we like the word free. Also, when you play this character, ready chosen character, they can't quest for the rest of the turn. She quests for 2.
She's a cool card. I mean, definitely screams Maui Shark.
Actions matter deck, yeah.
So, of the island deck.
A card that I'd be more excited about in an Infinity format than in a core format.
Sure.
But
more actions available. Yeah.
It untaps something. So what could we do? We have a Grandma Tala in play. We sing How Far I'll Go. We sail the Azurite Sea and then play a Vision of the Future. Then we play a Lilo. Maybe a deck list that kind of has 4 of all the cards I just mentioned. 4 develop your brains. You could even play like the one that has Gaston like going like this, where you look at their hand and then draw a card. All of your 1-ink cantrips are going to be really valuable there. More so than something like Brawl or Dragonfire, because you always kind of want to just keep the chain going.
She's the action version of Donald Duck, right? Donald Duck cared about items. She cares about actions.
Sure. Yeah. The rate, if it's not free, is pretty bad. And so I think that's going to keep this card on the bench for now. But similar to the Stitch, it's funny because there's Lilo and Stitch, and I think they're both kind of looking for their,
family.
Looking for their families. Yeah.
That was out there. Come on. Ohana.
So they're both doing Ohana right now. Stitch is kind of looking for his either graveyard or they ink synergies, and I think Lilo is looking for that perfect storm of cards that slam her into play, if we're doing puns. So I feel about the cards. Does everyone agree?
Yeah,
Disagree?
I think that's pretty fair.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right. What number am I on? Am I almost done?
You're on your 4th at least.
Okay, we'll say I'm on my 4th. And I got a shout out to Justice because Justice really likes this card.
5?
We don't have to. This is your podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We can do however you want. How much time we got left? I haven't looked all day. Interesting.
We're at negative time.
Okay, perfect. Whatever. We'll just do one more and then wrap it up quick.
Perfect.
Shout out to Justice. He put me onto this one. This is the new Yzma. This is Yzma on Edge. 6 ink. Uninkable. So that's pretty good right there. When I say a 6 ink uninkable card, I go, I want to slam that in my deck. Just kidding. Then a 3/6 quest for 2. Why do we even have that lever? When you play this character, if you have a card named Pull the Lever in your discard, you may search your deck for a card named Wrong Lever, reveal that card to all players, put that in your hand, then shuffle your deck. Kind of a little more Yu-Gi-Oh! Than Magic in terms of this card gets this card, it calls it out by name, you go get it, and then you get the other one, and they play into each other. Pull the Lever is the new 3 ink draw 2, so not a bad card. You could also make them discard a card, so really not a bad card.
Yeah.
And then the Wrong Lever, just the best mode that it has is you can pull the lever and bottom deck one of their characters. So these are 3 really strong cards. They find each other. They give you things to do on every turn. Zan, how good is an effect like this in Lorcana going to be?
I mean, I love engines.
Great.
And putting cards underneath people's decks where removal is light is great. So, I mean, I think it's an engine worth trying and worth building around. But I think that I need to feel out the environment that it's being played in.
Yeah, it's a little slow. 3 ink to draw 2 cards. While we've seen it work sometimes, it mostly works in the context of Friends on the Other Side, which is
a song.
And Pull the Lever, not a song. Wrong Lever, also not a song. This stuff is all pretty heavy on the ink. It'll be good to see. I mean, I think a draw 2 that has a big body associated with it that tutors into a removal spell. We're not talking about bad effects or even fringe effects. This isn't like if they have a damaged character do that. You know, every green card that I read that says that, I pretty much in my mind go like, this is crap. This is all face up stuff. Draw 2 is always good. They discard is always good. 3/6 quest for 2, not the worst thing in the world. And then put a card of theirs on the bottom of their deck, always good. So I'm excited to try this out. And Justice thinks it's good. He's obviously one of DKP's strongest pupils. So we'll see what happens. What's your last card?
Cool. I'm gonna go with Desperate Plan. If you have no cards in your hand, draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. Otherwise, choose and discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. It's a 3-cost card. It's uninkable. It's an action. I think that card, this is the type of card you would need to make a red steel deck playable.
Right? I think this card's great.
Yeah. So if you were playing like a combination of docks and this card, red steel is on the map.
Definitely. This card synergizes kind of well with Doc because... Wait, no, it doesn't. That's fine.
Yeah, it does.
It can. Yeah.
You can just, let's say you have a handful of docks and this card, get rid of everything.
Yeah.
Draw more cards. Or just empty
everything except 1 Doc.
or just play all the docks.
Then play this and draw 3
Yeah.
cards.
But can you? Oh, so if your hand is like, let's say you have 6 cards, you could discard everything but 1 dock.
Right.
That's awesome.
Lets you alter.
Hang on to the dock so you can play it.
This card is fantastic.
I think this card's good. No, I really do. I think this card's good. And now, Ryan, you talk about it. I think it's good.
It seems kind of hard to think about, especially in the context of red steel. If you have less than 3, you draw back up to 3. Is that correct? If you have more than 3, you get
If you
to
have
choose.
no cards,
Oh, if you have no cards, you draw back up to 3. If you have more than
then
no
discard.
cards, you get to choose how many you discard and draw that many.
Yep.
It's interesting for sure. I mean,
Max number of choices, which is always a good indicator of a good card.
Ryan, what is your last card to look out for in this set?
so I think I want to. There were a couple. I was going to say in the red steel, but I think I'm going to go to Naveen's new song.
Nice.
The 6-drop uninkable Down in New Orleans. It's look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal a character, item, or location card with cost 6 or less. Play it for free. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So what I'm thinking is we're playing a Naveen for 4. He gets to play a song that's 6 costs or less for free. So you get to play Down in New Orleans for free. You get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and play something that's 6 or less.
McDuck Manor, Tamatoa, Maui Shark. These are all crazy hits. Zan, what do you think of this song?
If we're playing Naveen in this song, we're playing Amber and Sapphire.
I understand, but so McDuck Manor and Tamatoa are the ones I said. Then I said
Yep.
Maui Shark.
I think
I like
this is a cool effect. Is it good? Okay, the thing that like makes me wary of this card is it can't hit itself. So it's not like you can chain off into one of these, into another one of these, into another one of these, and until you find the thing that you're looking for.
Sure. Yeah.
So I really like that when it can do that. So that it can't. 3 cards is still not that much. How many times have you like developed your brain and been like, I didn't find what I was looking for?
Many times.
Yeah. So I wish it was at least a vision of the future. You are singing a 6-cost song.
It does seem like it should be more than 3 to me.
Yeah, 4 would have been. I would have been actually like that's passable. 3, I'm like this is on the lower side. I could completely just miss, especially if I'm playing this card in my deck.
Yeah, you could hit 2 other Down in New Orleans.
Or
That would be
what else would go in this
bad.
deck? There would at least be some sort of. I think you would still be playing Sail. You know what I mean? There's not very many
if you're
Sapphire.
if you're
decks
playing Naveen, you got to play other songs theoretically to be able to play
True.
it for free. You're not only playing this song. Otherwise,
So I'm looking
you're
at
gonna
Sail, Tipo, Down in New Orleans. There we go, buddy. Tipo, go. Take your turn.
So I just think that it has a lot of brick potential, and that makes me sad.
This card has brick potential.
It has brick written all over it. For sure.
All right, we got to wrap it up. Somehow we went over despite not having anything to talk about. That's crazy. We were just like, we'll just do spoilers. We'll do a quick one. I said put 15 minutes on the clock at the beginning of this podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremy Bertolini. Find me on Spaces at MoxJeremy on Twitter, formerly known as X. And Yeah, join in there. It's getting better and better every week. We took a bunch of calls this last week. Who are you?
You're already here. Thanks for watching. And Ryan, go.
Ryan Walker. Find me on Twitter, ATL Ryan Walked. See you down in Margate in a couple weeks for the Jafar kickoff at SSG.
You're winning that one. Big things coming soon because then we are all qualified for the SSG Invitational on August 31st, and that's going to be a blast. We're gonna go. We're gonna play poker.
And go to that Colombian restaurant.
I'm gonna be in Orlando, but I'm not gonna be there.
My goal is to get their buy-in for poker down to.
So if you guys win, I'll drive over.
Hold on a minute. You're not going to go to the August 31st Margate's SSG Invitational?
I'll be at the invitation. I was talking about the Jafar thing.
Jafar.
Oh, the
Can't make
Jafar
it to
thing I'm not
Jafar.
going to either. But you're going to do great, buddy.
Yeah, you're gonna win.
And yeah, you should, and you have to. So
Okay.
do it.
See you next time.
Bye, everybody.